You ready?
I'm ready to party.
Gorgeous. Okay, we are live. Hello and welcome to Talk Chef. I am one of your hosts, Reka.
I'm your other host, Jordan.
And I'm your other host, Lisa.
Yes! Guys, you don't know Lisa Gilroy. You fucking gotta. She's uh just an incredible comedian. You've probably seen her on TikTok, an incredible improviser, and just a wonderful person. So please, all her handles and links are in the description of the chat. Lisa, we're so happy to have you.
I'm so happy to be here. I know I'm not a host. I was doing a joke.
You like that.
And since it's a French episode today, I guess I can say c'est une blague, which means it's a joke.
Okay. So here's a fun fact, in case that scared anyone. Lisa is Canadian. So
Does that scare anyone?
Yeah,
Are you
that scare anyone?
Canadian or are you just Canadian?
Listen, I also fully didn't hear a word you said when you were introducing me because I accidentally had the live open and I was living in my own personal hell. I had something going on that was my own voice echoing in a chamber of hell.
Yeah, that's really scary. Yeah.
So,
sure. I think Jordan asked if you were French Canadian.
Or regular Canadian.
I'm regular Canadian, but I have encountered some Americans who think, like, an Uber driver once to me was like driving me to the airport and said, "Where are you going?" I was like, "Oh, I'm going home to Canada for the holidays." And then she was like, "Your English is really good." So I'm aware that some Americans think that French is the first language of Canada, which is not true. We only have one French-speaking province. So I speak a little bit of French, but I'm not French Canadian.
You are saying that Americans are stupid? Huh. You mean me?
No. Americans very smart. Very
smart. Good.
You guys know Toronto, you know Vancouver. Very, very smart.
Yeah, those are on the left and the right.
Yeah. I like thinking myself as an American expert in Canada.
Yeah. My English is also very good.
And Reka, you have that little compass that just says left and right on it, right?
Yeah. This is left, right, up, down.
Yeah.
Really handy.
Okay, we're joking that is essentially what a compass says: left, right, up, down. Like
no, because a left and right is oriented compared to where you're facing.
It's relational versus cardinal.
But
that's
let me tell you that in my mind, north, south, east, and west are also relational to where I'm facing.
If anyone in the chat is scared, I want to just kind of bridge this gap that whatever Jordan is describing is something I believed for a really long time because I didn't understand stuff. Yeah. And only sort of when I moved to New York was I like, let's really investigate what you thought it meant for something to be like on the left.
That's different. That's numbers, though. New York is numbers. I lived in New York for almost 10 years. So that's numbers. So I know the direction of numbers.
No, I know the direction of numbers, but someone's like, this is west of Broadway. Okay.
Oh, okay. But so west of Broadway is different than on the left of Broadway. Oh, so you would direct people, you'd be like, "Oh, I'm just left of Broadway." And they'd be like,
God bless you thinking I'm directing anybody anywhere. I'm directing people straight into the Hudson River. Nobody's asking me for directions. Okay, so we've kind of lost like 75% of people from this really awesome conversation about directions. Lisa, we're so excited to have you here.
Happy to be here. Thank you for having me.
Let me ask you, had you seen Top Chef or any cooking show, honestly, before this?
No, I'd never seen Top Chef. And as you said, I texted you before this episode started and was alarmed to find that we were watching a show from 2009.
Yeah, Lisa was like, is this show old?
I was like, I think I'm watching the wrong thing.
It's so funny. Yeah.
No, I've never seen an episode of Top Chef. I have seen an episode of the one where they go like, wow. Look
That's
what you're going to cook with. Okay.
Iron Chef and Iron Chef America.
And then I have seen Nailed It, which probably doesn't count in this kind of echelon. And Bake Off.
Okay, great.
Oh, okay.
Are you taking notes, Reka?
Yes.
Oh, you have a dirty spoon there. Okay.
Reka,
just a disclaimer for everyone. I am going to have to eat soup during this live stream.
What kind of soup?
You're gonna have to?
I have to. This is a like a leek and kale soup with chow chow in it from Carla Hall's book. If I show you it, I think you'll think it looks like shit unless I show you a picture of it, which looks nice. It is really tasty, but I do have to eat it. I don't have any time to eat it I can't eat it any other time. I have to eat it now, unfortunately.
Reka.
I know.
What are you doing after this?
I got a flight to Toronto.
You gotta.
To the left of Toronto, to the up of it.
Wow.
Yeah, it's incredible. Okay, well, couple orders of business before we dive in. First of all, you guys know
couples only for some reason. I know
couples
this is
only orders of business.
further, but
Get out! This is couples only information.
This is a Valentine's Day episode.
This is a Valentine's Day episode, so therefore it's exclusionary to anybody that's not in a relationship.
Let's say committed relationship, and it's gotta be marital.
It's gotta be marital. It's gotta be hetero, and it's gotta be white.
Closed.
Okay.
Yeah.
white.
It's gotta be white. For me, it's gotta be white. So we are a food charity-based live stream. Every season we pick a different charity to donate to, and we do a big fundraiser for it at the end. And this season is exactly the same with a little twist that we will be taking a slight pause in the middle of season 6 to account for the fact that Top Chef Houston season 19 is coming out on March 3rd.
This is a huge announcement. We haven't announced it yet, Lisa. You don't know that, so I'm
Air
sorry.
horns galore.
Fans
Wow,
didn't know about
congrats.
Thank you. Thank you so much. We worked really hard to get Top Chef Houston off the ground.
Yeah.
I'm so excited.
I would like to think they continue to do the show for us.
I think they have to. So be on the lookout. We still will complete season 6 and do a fundraiser for it. But just be on the lookout. You know, it's getting a little topsy-turvy. Second order of business, Lisa, something we didn't tell you.
Yeah.
A little surprise.
Oh, was that French?
Yeah. I'm Canadian too. Which is that just like every episode of Top Chef has a quick fire, so does every episode of Talk Chef. And it is not cooking based. It is all Lisa preference based.
Oh
It
my
is
God.
45 seconds, which is the fastest quick fire in all of Top Chef history, and 10 questions.
Okay.
Now, Lisa, I know you. I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, this is bullshit. I walk. I hate this shit. Fuck you guys. I know. But before you storm off, if I could bend your ear for a moment, because there's some prizes at stake here.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Now I'm listening.
Now Daddy's listening. Okay. So one of the prizes is, oh, yeah. Yummy.
Daddy like it.
One of the prizes is a deed to the Trelato Wine Vineyard.
Have you ever heard of it?
A deed? So this is a joke. C'est une blague.
Blog. May know.
Mais no?
May know.
L'hommage is
Rika.
2 words. You're going to eat your words?
Oh. Tu
Okay.
manges ton mot.
Yes, precisely. But back at you. Because this prize, a deed to a big vineyard, is definitely real.
It's real.
A lot of wine, for those who don't know, sponsors. We might be in the season that they start to sponsor Top Chef, honestly. They sponsor a bunch of seasons with their kind of nasty wine. That
What I will say about it is that it is unpurchasable by humans. Reka and I have tried to buy it many times. I have, in fact, called wine shops that say that they sell it online. And then when I call, they say, what the fuck are you talking about? That wine doesn't exist.
So
Okay.
who's to say if it's real, but you'll win a deed to that. You could also win your own personal suite of broken GE appliances, just like you see on the show. So we're talking an oven that doesn't get up to temperature, a fryer that doesn't get up to temperature, a refrigerator whose door doesn't close. All of that.
What about the Tupperware?
If it's broken, you can have it.
Okay, so it just won't have like a lid that matches it or something.
Yeah, maybe it'll have a mismatched lid. Maybe it'll have a lid that like someone got too.
Oh yeah. Or
And
maybe it's already been like stained by spaghetti, so it's that kind of orange
It's
color
a big
forever.
spaghetti lid, kind of orange forever.
Okay.
Hashtag orange forever if
Orange
you know what we're
forever.
talking about.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's the stuff you can win.
Okay. Amazing.
So I will start a timer for you, Lisa. After Jordan finishes asking question 1, are you ready for your 45-second quickfire?
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
Scared.
Okay. Lisa, what do you think the most elegant fine dining food is?
Escargot.
Is French food good?
Yes.
Paris or Las Vegas?
Paris.
Who is the Frenchest person you can think of?
Céline Dion.
What is your favorite French food?
Croque Madame.
Would you eat snails?
Yeah.
What is the best type of food?
French fries.
What would you make if you were on this episode of Top Chef?
Oh, my amuse-bouche would be like a cheese and a cracker and with sauce and microwaved.
If you were in France right now, what would you be doing?
I would be strolling with an umbrella.
How great are Jordan and Reika?
Amazing, hot, sexy.
Lisa, you've probably placed in our like top 10 fastest times.
I did all the questions?
You did all the questions.
Wow.
And can I say, this wasn't even intentional, but we did pick a really perfect person for this episode because Lisa's got some freaking French knowledge. Okay.
Okay. French
Um,
Canadian, at least. I mean, I'm sure the French people are not making poutine the same way I would have them do it.
Yeah, if there's any French
Worth.
people in the chat that want to sound off on how you make poutine, let us
Yeah,
know.
I will also say that I think that the French would be frustrated to hear that you think the Frenchest person is Celine Dion.
I know. I heard myself say it, and
I think you're right though. I think
she's extremely French, but I just think
I think she's truly French.
I think she's unbelievably French.
Okay. Well, she is French. She's French. She's just a different kind. You guys want to know something very interesting?
Yeah.
Actually, I don't know if it'll be that interesting to you, but anyways, this is my favorite fact because Canadian French is different than Parisian French.
Yeah.
And do you know why?
No.
Maybe.
Okay, hazard a guess.
Jordan,
Wait.
think of something smart.
Pick
You
it.
have to guess.
Hazard a
Well,
guess.
no, you have to go because my thing is rude, and then I'll explain it. I don't think my thing
Okay.
is right, but
Okay.
I'll talk. Okay.
So apparently this is why, is that when it was like the fancy, royalty, rich people, the upper class French people were the first ones to be able to travel across the ocean. And so they brought that language to North America, to Canada. And then we took it on and they settled there and they stayed that way forever. And then meanwhile, the French Revolution was happening and all the class systems got overthrown. And so the common language in France became like the lower class. And that's what they speak now because it's just like, fuck the authority. This is like our language. And so Canada has like the olden day decadent version, which now sounds shitty to them.
I was gonna say
Yeah,
French people are very snooty about that. I've seen people post clips of The Simpsons and Quebecois
Yeah.
French, and I've seen like if you like translate what the French tweet says, it's like this sounds like fucking shit or whatever.
Yeah, it's just so
I
different.
only know this because my best friend from high school is French Canadian and his father emigrated here from Quebec, but my friend went to a French school growing up. So he speaks like fancy French from France and his dad speaks like Quebecois French, and he was always bullied growing up because they were like, oh, your dad is essentially like a redneck was the thing. So I assumed it was like a rude thing. I assumed that they were just less fancy French people.
Well, it's still, you're right. It's still like class war stuff, probably.
Wow. That's really, I love this fact. And I think our audience does too. So thank you, Lisa, for sharing that.
Are they sounding off in the comments?
Yeah, everyone's going, holy fucking shit for that fact.
And are they saying like, I'm taking off my shirt, I'm swinging around my head? Shirts off.
Stolen off.
Whoa.
I would like to know, have you been to France?
Mm-hmm.
And what are your thoughts?
We're elegant little ladies, aren't we?
Yes, we go every weekend.
Yeah.
I liked it. I was young. The tours.
Now you're old.
Yeah, no, now I suck. The tours were a little like we did like very touristy things, and that was a little dull. I'm sure if I went now, it would be different.
Okay.
I went more recently. I guess I was old. I went maybe 4 years ago, and I went to the catacombs, and that was very spooky. And then also, my favorite part was like going to Versailles and seeing like Marie Antoinette's little cottage and stuff.
I love like little not fake, but like houses, like replicas of like rooms and shit like that. And I love that shit.
Yeah.
Jordan, now release the hounds on France as I know you want to.
I don't like Paris iconically, I would say.
Okay, your shirt begs to differ.
Mime alert! Hashtag mime alert!
Yeah. I just am like, so first of all, I will preface this by saying I have been dumped in Paris twice, by two separate people. So that is kind of something to like keep in mind and take with you, kind of what a sensational and unbelievable thing that is, considering the fact that I've only been to Paris 3 times. And 2 of those times I was dumped. But that being said, I still think it's boring. I think French food is kind of boring. I know that's a hot take, but I think French food gets a lot of hype in a way that like traditional Mexican cuisine or Thai cuisine or Indian cuisine or whatever doesn't get. And I don't really understand why, other than just racism. And I think Paris is a little boring. I think it's a little expensive. I'm like, sure, you can like walk along the Seine. Okay, that's fine. But it's not my favorite. It's not my, I think there are better cities. I'm sorry. And I certainly did not feel the love while I was there. I'll say that much.
Did you get dumped anywhere iconic?
One of them was in a very fancy rented house, in like one of the arrondissements, like near the Champs-Élysées. So that, I guess that, you know, it's not really an iconic place, but it's near some iconic places. And it looked very French.
Were these dumpings long enough ago that we can have a laugh about them?
Oh, absolutely. Yes.
Because I have a bit of a blag I would like to make.
Oh.
I just wanted to say that maybe it's your attitude about Paris that's getting you dumped all over the place around Paris.
Yeah, well, I go to Paris. I'm a huge bitch. I say, if you like Paris,
the food's not even good.
Yeah. And
it's
not as good as people who dumped Jordan are like the Prime Minister of France and a mime. Yeah.
Yeah, well, no.
Well,
what can you do? But yeah, I'm a little bored, and I think it's reflected in today's episode. We'll talk about it more, but I just think French food gets a lot of hype, similar to Italian food. Europe in general, I'm not impressed. Sorry, Europe.
I think French food does get a lot of hype. I'm severely biased as a vegetarian. I'm not enjoying any of the buttered meats that I see in pictures, and I'm not getting much pleasure out of the buttered vegetables either. Now, the patisserie and the desserts, an entirely different story.
Why aren't the buttered vegetables pleasing to you?
I think I need more from a veg. That feels real side dish to me, and that has to be my diva, my superstar, my entree. Right. So I'm not here to eat butter on green beans as like my entree. Right. And I know there's plenty of other things. Like I do like a ratatouille and like, you know.
The movie.
Yeah, I love that. That's my favorite French film, my French New Wave film.
It's the 400 blows and
yeah, it's Breathless and
But I do want to.
Oh yeah,
I just wanted to say that, like, I think French food, I know you guys are saying, like, it gets more attention than the others, but it's like fancy daddy food. Like, when are you going to see fancy daddy? Let's say your parents are divorced. You only see fancy daddy every Christmas. There's your French food. But mommy, she keeps you warm. She's with you. She's your, like, that's every day. You and I, like, you know, 3 of us are like, let's go for dinner. What's it going to be? It's going to be Mexican. It's going to be Thai. It's the people's choice. It's mommy food. It's mommy. Fancy distant daddy is French food. We never have it. Who cares about it? Unless you're doing fancy occasion.
Wow.
But but then think about the fact that people say, oh, fancy daddy is the best parent. Fancy daddy is such a
fancy daddy can charge $30 a plate.
Okay, well, girls who say that have fancy daddy issues.
That's true.
And I think the people who are well-rounded and doing, you know, we're doing well, high self-esteem,
okay,
they love mommy.
They love mommy. Okay. Sound off in the comments if you understand. So.
Are you a daddy's girl or a mommy's girl?
Yeah, are you daddy's girl or mommy's?
And just keep in mind, those are gender neutral terms. A fancy
of
girl
course.
and a
we
mommy
could do
girl.
daddy's snail or mommy's snail. Or
Sure. Whatever you feel. But for me as someone...
No, snail is too biased because then you're already saying you're daddy's snail. You're either
daddy's snail and mommy's bread.
Listen, I'll just say as someone who feels pretty gender fluid, I would say that I do find sometimes girl or boy can be a gender neutral term. I'm sorry.
Especially in this case when we're not giving boys an option, you know what kind of girl you are. You're either this kind of girl, you know what, in your heart, what kind of girl are you?
Where we are spinning tops. We're out of our gourds right now with what we're talking about. Absolutely. Okay, we're getting some people sounding off. I'm a mommy's food girl all the way.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Listen, while my mommy didn't necessarily make the foods we're talking about, in the sort of abstract, the gestalt, I'm a mommy's food girl.
Yeah. Yeah, this is not about your actual mommy or daddy. Please.
Yeah, for anyone in the chat that thought this might be about an actual mommy, that's simply not the case.
Wow, I'm worried about you guys seem to fear your audience deeply. A lot of caveats, a lot of apologizing.
Yeah, a lot of complications.
Scary.
Incredible. So let's jump into this quick fire, which I would classify as a fancy daddy challenge. So this is to make a dish using snails as the main protein.
Oh, yeah.
This is our first Las Vegas high stakes quickfire. Now, of this kind, because before the last high stakes quickfire was you could win $15,000 if you won the challenge, which is awesome. This is the first time where it's like, if you don't do well, you could go home now, which is really unusual for a quickfire. Mm-hmm. So lots at stake here on snails. So here are the dishes everybody made. So Jordan, do you want to, just while I pull it up, you want to explain to Lisa kind of what we do real quick?
Oh, sure. We'll go through all the dishes and you can either give them a thumbs up or a thumbs down. And that's fully based on whatever you want it to be. So it can be whether or not you would eat it, whether or not you think it's a Top Chef worthy dish, whether or not you think it's interesting enough. It doesn't matter. It's totally up to you because nothing matters. This is like whose line is it anyway, you know?
Okay. Yeah, this is sort of the whose line is it anyway of Top Chef live streams.
Yeah.
I wish I had ever tasted escargot before this, because then I feel like I'd have a better idea of what was going to be good. Have you guys had it?
No.
Yes. And I'll tell you what, Lisa, it didn't give me a better idea of what would be good because, well, we'll get into it, but I was shocked, to say the least, at this challenge.
Can you tell me what escargot tasted like to you?
Yes. To me, escargot is a little earthy. It's very chewy. It's mostly textural more than flavor based. Like that's the big reason why people eat it. And I would say 9 out of 10 times it is served in like a garlic butter sauce.
Right.
So it's mostly like a little earthy, textured, chewy garlic butter.
And is its whole little body there? Like even it's like weeble wobbles, it's all part of it?
And like all of its stuff, it's like school books. It's like
I don't know. I will say I don't think I've ever eaten its weeble wobbles, but
you don't see it on it. Like, does it come as a whole critter, or it's like already chopped up and grated?
It's not. It's
the presentation of some of these dishes, I was like, oh, you're really keeping the whole little guy intact. Like Reka said, like his book bags on him still. Like,
so they're almost always keeping the whole guy intact, whether, to my understanding, and how I've seen it, whether or not it's inside or outside the shell. It seems like that seems to be the most thing of like, are you taking it out of the shell and cooking it? Or are you cooking it in the shell and then taking out and serving it outside of the shell, but it was cooked in the shell? Or are you serving in the shell? Whatever, like those seems to be the options.
This is one of those things I imagine because a lot of these chefs have not worked with it. You would have to probably eat it several dozen times to come up with like any like really original creative way to cook it.
Right.
So let's run through these. So Ron made escargot provençal with caramelized shallots, pernod, whatever, and fresh herbs. This looked okay. It was real escargot heavy.
The only word I understand there is caramelized, and I think that sounds yummy.
Yeah, I like caramelized shallots, and I like Ron. So there's my standards. Jen Carroll made escargot with grilled ramps, Brussels sprouts, chanterelle mushrooms, and yuzu.
Grilled what? Excuse me, grilled ramps?
Yeah.
Yeah, ramps are
like a green.
Of the skateboarding variety?
Yes.
They're like a very fancy member of, I believe, the like onion garlic family, and they're only in season for like 2 weeks every year, so they're very expensive.
Wow, okay. And she bought that at a grocery store? Okay.
Okay, bitch, go off.
Okay, liar.
Yeah, they're fake ramps. Okay. Jesse made an ELT, escargot, mosh, and fried tomato.
This devastated me because wasn't the chef like, was this inspired by anything? And she was like, I don't know. It's like, bitch, you just said ELT. Just say BLT.
I didn't understand. Yeah, why
she lied about it.
Really nervous. Yeah, I think this is a cool idea. It's
me too.
Soggy brown looking dish, which hey, that could be fine.
I think that looked the best to me because I could identify that this was like a tiny burger for me.
It was a tiny burger, yeah. Okay, Lorene made sauteed escargot, lemon risotto, spinach, parsley pesto, and garlic butter.
I thought this looked beautiful.
Yeah, that's good.
Hector made Caribbean escargot with pickled mushrooms. This looks
Sure.
pretty good.
I gotta do this because I'm like, conceptually, I kind of like it, but when I really stop and think about it, an escargot next to a mushroom is like extremely similar in texture. So I'm curious. I'm questioning.
Oh, so Jordan, you really would do like a texture comparison, almost exact. Would you say a snail is more like juicy than a mushroom, or?
No, I would say a mushroom is more juicy. A mushroom that's cooked well is going to be more juicy than an escargot, and an escargot is going to be a little more chewy.
Like a gummy bear?
Depending on how hard they're cooked, I would say between a gummy bear and not as hard as a gummy bear. If you similar to like any other type of like seafood,
like a jujube.
Jujube.
In Canada they're just called jujubes.
I don't know if I've had a jujube, if I'm being honest with you. I'm so sorry, but the name is so cute. I'm excited about them.
Or like dots. You have dots, like that.
Dots here. Oh, dots. Listen, this is why it's so hard to say. It's like springier than a dot. You know how your teeth just like glide through a dot, but they're like gelatinous and firm?
Yeah.
A piece of escargot is like more springy. Squeakies would be another good word. Springy.
Okay, yum.
Does it squeak your teeth?
It could, for sure.
Like a cheese curd?
It could. A cheese curd, we're getting, once again, not cheesy, but we're like circling
in the zone.
You know?
Okay, I got it.
Do you think a mushroom and an escargot could switch places at the SATs because they look so similar?
Yeah, they could definitely do a Parent Trap or two.
Yeah. Depends on how many adults in their life were paying attention.
Yeah, I think that's nice. Okay, Robin made bagels and lox, quote unquote. So poached escargot, marmalade, gooseberries, and rye crostini.
Oh, this actually looked good to me.
That was good. I gotta go with that. Mateen made fava bean crostini with escargot sauteed in a pimento displet and anise.
I can't understand a single word in that, so I'm gonna have
to. It kind of looks like it's like escargot toast, like fava bean.
Tell me when the thing you're talking about is the thing that looked so disgusting. There was one that just looked utterly so like slop on a slop.
I have pictures. Famously, I'm not really. My background kind of makes it hard to see. Is this what you were talking about?
I can't really tell, but I definitely identify a green hue that is that I think is what I'm thinking of.
I don't know if this was it either. Ashley made escargot, mirepoix soup, and salad.
This looked so boring, but I'm sure it tasted good. It was like a leek in escargot soup, and I would let it leek raise my kids. I love them.
Okay, Kevin made escargot fricassee with mushrooms, Brussels sprouts, and candied bacon jam.
What's fricassee? Because I definitely have always said like fricassee, your fricassee, and I don't know what it means, and I don't know where I heard that.
And why have you said that?
I think I heard it in a movie, and I think it's like sounds kind of cool, but I don't know what it means.
You know, what context are you using that in? Like, how are
sex.
You? Oh, okay.
Mostly sex at the start of sex to initiate sex.
That's awesome. Okay, fricassee, I feel like is like a bunch of pieces of a thing sautéed together. Is that wrong or right?
Fricassee or fricassee is a stew made with pieces of meat that have been browned in butter and are served in a sauce flavored with the cooking stock. So
okay, it sounds sexy. It sounds like, you know, Pony by Genuine. It sounds like the second song on the CD must be fricassee.
That's true.
If you're going to make a human fricassee, it's like, let's melt all this shit together.
We're all sweating. We're all sweating and coming together in the pot.
Okay, I'm ready. I like that. I will say this dish, though, I give it a thumbs down. It looked dry as hell to me. If a fricassee is a stew.
Yeah, this is a dry place. For anyone
and I know this dish. Yeah, this dish did well. But when I saw this dish, I said, Joel Robuchon said that he wanted something that he had never tasted or seen before. And I refuse to believe that dish was unlike anything he'd had before. It was a bunch of sauteed vegetables with some snails.
If that's all he wanted, someone should have given them like the bottom of a boot. And he'd be like, you never tasted this or seen this before.
And then gone, yeah.
Yeah. Reka, will you tell me you're on comment patrol, right? Or anyone who can see the comments, let me know if anyone knows where a fricassee, your fricassee is from.
Yeah, everyone sound off in the comments if you know where efficacy.
Something like that. Like a movie quote in which the word fricassee is said twice in a kind of a sexual way.
Yeah, can we Shazam efficacy?
Efficacy, your fricassee, something like that.
Something like that. So sound off in the comments. You have the whole night to do it, and keep us posted. Okay, Brian Voltaggio made escargot with red wine risotto, spinach emulsion, and Marcona almond froth.
Someday we'll find it, the spinach emulsion.
Ah!
Wow.
So I wanted to share that with you guys.
Awesome.
Is this something I'm working on?
Yeah, Lisa was already workshopping that.
Yeah, before I said this. Now, I wonder, again, I'm not going to be able to give you a good visual. Is this what you thought looked bad?
3 balls is what I'm seeing right now. But no, the thing I'm picturing is like, it looked like green, chewy slop. Like someone had already eaten the green thing and then spit it out. And it was, or maybe that I'm thinking of the other challenge.
Maybe. I'll go through all these at the end too to just see.
Okay.
Is the thing you're thinking of from Oh Brother, Where Art Thou? There's a quote about fricassee in that.
Oh, maybe it is.
But I don't know. I'm still looking. And I think
you're looking it up? Or you're scrolling through the hundreds of thousands of comments of people pitching their idea?
There's too many people.
Yeah,
there are hundreds of thousands of people on this chat. You're being sarcastic, but there are. And no, but I decided to Google it just because I wanted to know.
Yeah, and you Googled I fricassee, your fricassee.
I did.
Here's what I just tried to do, and no results.
You also spelled it wrong twice. It didn't work.
It felt so wrong.
Which is beautiful. I fricassee.
How do you even spell fricassee?
Fricasse. Like fricasse.
Oh.
I fricassee, you fricassee.
Part of me is thinking it's like something really stupid like Night at the Roxbury or something, where there's like a stupid or Dumb and Dumber, like something where they heard the word similar to me and didn't know what it meant and used it in a bad way.
In Fargo, someone says, "How's the fricassee?"
I haven't seen Fargo. and keep in mind, I've been saying this for about 10 years. So
let's date that. Okay, so it's 2012. Some hot ass piece of media is out and is talking about fricassee.
Yeah.
Okay.
Anyways, we'll find it. It doesn't matter.
We are going to find it. I think that. Okay. Michael Lotagio made escargot and chanterelle mushroom bolognese lasagna. That sounds good.
That does sound good.
Okay. Mike Isabella, who sucks, made sauteed escargot over potato garlic puree, spring onion, and ouzo broth.
Did you say Mike and Isabella who suck?
He sucks. Yeah, he's bad.
Mike Isabella. He sucks. He's a big pervert.
He's a big pervert.
Which one is he?
He's the guy with like wow, a purely useless description. He has tattoos all over his arms.
No, there was one guy who.
Okay, he has like spiky.
At one point, did he say "idea"? He was like, it was his idea.
Probably.
Okay.
He's got a bit of like a Long Island drawl.
Yeah.
I think this looks a little like poop. Okay. So then.
That sounds so good. The dish sounds so good to me, but I hate Mike Isabella, so it's hard to like this.
It's hard.
Also, Lisa, now people are wondering, is there any chance that Foghorn Leghorn said it? The
animated chicken? My God. Yeah. There's a big chance.
Okay,
huge chance, in fact.
I forgot. I had posters of Foghorn in my locker at the time. So it must.
The ultimate sex symbol. What? And thank you. Comments.
Okay, Jason says from the movie The Pest in 1997 or the show, nobody fricassee is like fricassee.
Listen, I want to say to whoever commented this right now that I know almost every single word of that movie, and I've watched it so many times, so it's got to be that. Because you know the whole. You guys seen this movie? The opening credits are John. What's his name? Leguizamo. And I always want to say John Leguizamo. I want to put a little bit of flair on it, and I know that's not correct. But he sings a whole rap at the beginning when the credits are coming up, and it's very funny and silly. And he's tooting in the bathtub, and he has rubber duckies, and he's doing all sorts of very funny, cool shit.
I might be misunderstanding.
What is tooting in the bathtub?
Tooting in the bathtub? Farting?
Oh,
in
okay.
the shower.
Is this a movie that stars John Leguizamo and Foghorn Leghorn?
No, it's just, and you know what is so fucked up? I literally quoted it as I was getting my headphones ready before you guys came on the Zoom. I said, the person in the comments is maybe the only one that will understand this. I went, one stinky dinky, that's from the movie. And I was singing that while I was setting up today. This is so crazy how full circle and beautiful.
Wait, I need just even one answer about.
Okay, what's your question, Rika? I'm going to do my best here.
Is this a double header of John Leguizamo and Foghorn Leghorn?
No, and I can see how every piece of information I've had has been supporting that thesis. But it's just John, and he's playing a character called the Pest, and he's a little like scam artist. He goes, I'm in the mood to scam simply because I can. Listen, it's not a good film, but I deeply attached to it as a child, and I think I replicated a lot of my comedy based off that movie exactly.
That's awesome.
He
Wait,
said,
what?
Nobody fricassees like I fricassee.
That's it.
And he says it like Foghorn Leghorn. Where is?
I think Foghorn Leghorn just says fricassee in another episode, in a separate episode. So someone was like, maybe it's this Foghorn Leghorn thing.
But that's why I related to the because they have the commonality is like the movie is very cartoonish, like it's said in a crazy wacky way. That's why I was like, it could be Foghorn. But now I'm really I know it must be the Pest.
I understand.
Wow, I'm so sorry. I just did ultimately need to know.
I was blending. I saw Elaine's comment right next to Jason's comment saying, I'm finding Foghorn Leghorn, and then I found something from the past. It has a quote. So to me,
so that person who commented that wasn't like, I know it from the past. They were like, I think I found it. You freak! You're the only one who likes this movie.
That is what when I googled it, that is what came up, which is why I was surprised that maybe the two would star in the same movie.
It's insane.
I can't stop thinking about us like a Space Jam type movie.
I know, with John with an actor who is funny and good, and then like kind of a second string Looney Tune.
I would say don't watch this movie though, because I guarantee you it would be the most canceled movie of all time.
Okay. That's a challenge to our audience.
That's a challenge, yeah.
Or not to watch this movie.
You're gonna be upset.
Wow, that was an absolutely incredible detour. So on top of this quickfire was Kevin, Jennifer, and Mike Isabella. Kevin ultimately is the winner.
I can't believe it.
On the bottom were Jesse, Ashley, and Robin. And they had to do an amuse-bouche cook-off to see which one of them would go home. So it's nice that
I was floored by this challenge. I couldn't believe it. I thought like if you took the three of us right now and we had to go into our own kitchens and just make one little bite, but it wasn't just one bite. They had to make like a few identical little bites. So much pressure. That's why I was saying there's no little bite I like better in the world than a cheese and a cracker. And maybe I'd put like a fancy little pickle on top or something. But I wouldn't know beyond that how the hell to make a small, tiny, decadent thing.
It's hard. You got to pack a lot of flavor into it. And
have you tried this?
I've never made an amuse-bouche because I like to eat food in piles.
Listen, if this was a different show and I was bossier than I am, which I am pretty bossy, I would make you guys go. I would put like 5 minutes on the timer and say like, go make an amuse-bouche. I'll take over the show. You come back and show us what you made. Like I'm dying to see what people can do in the short frame of time in one bite.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'll do it, but we don't have the time. We simply don't have the time.
That's a challenge for another episode. The fans would love to see it.
The fans would love to see it. Ultimately, Jesse lost that cook-off and went home. Bummer. So then we move to our elimination challenge, which is pairing a classic French sauce with a classic French protein. So the chefs are working in pairs. One person got assigned the sauce, one person got assigned the protein. And Kevin actually doesn't have to compete because he won the quickfire and gets to eat with a bunch of fancy judges. So that's interesting. Gorgeous. Did I skip Robin's quickfire dish?
It's okay.
If I did, hey. You bitch skipped the amuse-bouches. That's what I skipped. Avocados, it doesn't matter. Okay. Do we care what the amuse-bouches are? Do you want me to say them?
It's up to you, Reika.
Okay, for our fans. Robin made avocado soup with yuzu, green apple, mustard relish, and crab. Yeah, I'm going to eat that. Jesse made a tuna tartare with sorrel, gooseberries, fried quail egg, and fried bread. Sounds good, honestly. And then Ashley made foie gras with pineapple, tarragon, and rams.
I just want to acknowledge this huge moment of Reika saying that right for the first time ever in the history of talk.
Can I say, in my defense, I'm the one that reads all the dishes, and I have never eaten or heard of so many things on the show, and I have to say them all, and it's really terrifying to me because I know it's foie gras, but every time I see it, I have to kind of remind myself. So if everyone could cut me just a tiny bit of slack.
Okay, Reika, how dare you? We've joked about it before that you can't say that, and now I'm getting made to be the villain on my own show? I don't think so.
If anyone supports me in the chat, just kind of let me know because I'm feeling kind of down about this.
Reika, how dare you? Okay,
make a hashtag something hashtag duck liver Reka. I don't know, something.
Reka, we are literally the closest of friends. Do not do this to me on a public episode. Do not.
Jordan's bossing me around, guys, so I gotta move
Reka?
on. I gotta move on to the elimination.
Guys, I've checked out. I've found the chat. I'm just sideways.
I'm off the rail. Incredible. I love. Yes. Okay. So for this elimination challenge, Ron and Robin are paired together, and we get frog legs as our protein and meuniere as our sauce. So we get frog legs meuniere with lemon confit, mosh, and arugula salad with fried capers.
I want to say something now that's a very hot take now.
Okay.
Yeah.
I love this.
And it's similar to how Jordan was shitting on Paris.
Okay.
I wonder if French food is like the ultimate appropriation because they're eating dirt and shit and trash and acting like it's so fancy. Like they're frog legs, snails. They've gone into the forest. They've taken. I mean, if we rewind, who are they? They're taking the food from the people that are living in the forest and then serving it at the castle. Like, who are you?
That's Bambi food.
What are we doing here? Why are they eating this stuff?
Well, I will totally agree with you, Lisa, in the sense that I will say frogs' legs are also very popular in certain parts of the South, and they are never thought of as fine dining, but they are thought of as fine dining in France. So I think I can totally see that. I think it is kind of like, and like
dirt and shit.
It's like dirt and shit. No, but the same thing with like,
that I shouldn't have said that. Listen, no country's food is dirt and shit.
But I get what you're saying. I also think like a lot of other cultures, when they make something that's fatty or decadent or has a lot of cheese or whatever, it's kind of looked down upon. But in these like European or like Anglo-centric countries, like fondue is thought of as being like very fancy, but there's like a misconception like Mexican food is like very unhealthy.
Right.
So I think it's
true.
Yeah, I think it's a lot of like double standards when it comes to like ingredients, things like that.
How much you would pay for fondue versus like, I know queso is different, but like, you know what I mean? Like,
so what's going on? Why are we not eating the frog's belly? Why just the legs?
There's no meat there. The legs are the only part that have meat.
And too private.
But Jordan, how can you tell me this isn't the meat?
That's muscle and skin. Most of the frog that you see that's big is like, if they're really big, they're like filled up with air, right? I'm so stupid. So also just keep that in mind while I'm saying all of this. I don't know anything about reptiles or amphibians. But yeah, for the rest of the frog's body is like all muscle and skin, I think.
Okay. If you know how muscular a frog is, drop it in the chat. And tell us where the jelly's at on the frog.
Sex with a frog.
Say if you've ever fricasseed with a frog.
Yes, tell us where the juice and the jelly's at on a frog. We want to know. Okay, so then Brian Voltaggio and Mike Isabella, they got trout with béarnaise, and they made a warm cured trout with a deconstructed béarnaise. I'm like, whatever on deconstructed shit. I'm fully biased because I know Brian's entire deal is like, what if I make you think when you eat? And that's really boring to me. I would eat the shit out of these like little poofy potatoes. So I'll go like this. I'll give it like one of these.
I hang loose.
Yeah. Okay. Eli and Laureen made lobster with they had lobster and sauce Americain. Okay. Eli and Laureen made lobster with sauce Americain with cauliflower puree. Sure. This looks good. I'm so curious what looked like shit to Lisa. Okay, Martine and Ashley, they got poussin and velouté, and they made seared poussin and ravioli with sauce velouté and green asparagus.
I need to bring something up. Why is Martine the only Top Chef contestant in the history of the entire show that's been allowed to customize his uniform? He's allowed to wear his fancy little French sailor bandana in every single episode, and no one else in the history of Top Chef has ever done outfit add-on modifications.
Wait, this is the French guy, right?
Yeah.
And he wears a little French red bandana, so you know he's French, but no one else has ever done that.
I also, when he came and he said what was in the dish en français for the chef, and then the chef afterwards was like, his French is pretty good. And he stood there for a second. Did you see it? He was like,
almost to be like,
walked away.
Fine.
Because can you imagine if it was your first language and then someone was like, hey, you're okay at that? And you're like,
Yeah,
thanks.
it's crazy. Gorgeous. Okay. So this looked fine. And Mike Voltaggio made they had rabbit and chasseur. Who's to say? So they made rabbit chasseur with mustard noodle and shiso. This looked good.
Fine.
And then Hector and Ash had Chateaubriand and sauce à poivre with confit de pomme and spinach.
I wanted to see Hector's hack job on that up close because everyone was acting like it was a real hack job, but they never showed us the evidence.
Well, I have a picture of it that you won't be able to tell anything from. It looks a little hacked. Like there's like 2 levels to it almost. It looks like a little chair.
Wait, that's one piece? Oh.
You know,
I thought it was one standing piece and one fallen over piece.
I think that could be it, Lisa.
Can I just say that I feel like someone in the chat asks how we feel about Mateen, and Mateen reminds me of like the guy that you like as a non-guy make friends with, and you're like, oh, this guy seems like kind of like soft and like nice and whatever. So you're like, this is a person I can be friends with and trust because he's not like a bro-y guy. But then when he gets around other bro-y guys, he starts being like really mean to you and like completely dunking on you, and it like hurts feelings. Do you guys know what I'm talking about? Does that make sense?
I spent the first half of that explanation wondering what a non-guy was. I thought you meant like someone who's a fan of non-bread. And I was like, well, I guess, but what?
That's how I identify gender-wise.
I'm not a bit of a non-guy.
Yeah. Anyone who's just like not like a cisgendered man.
Yes, I understand now, but I got so distracted because I know this is a food show, so I was like, oh, certainly there are non-guys,
and ahead of us, Lisa.
Yeah, but I would say I also identify as a non-guy, so
right. Of course. And you too.
You know what I mean? Like, you'd be like, oh, yeah, he's, like, nice. I can be friends with him. I can trust him. And then, like, the second you're, like, on the school field trip and, like, the other cooler boys are there that are, like, whatever, on, like, the lacrosse team, all of a sudden he's like, Jordan looks like shit. And then they all laugh. Do you know what I mean?
Well, because he sold out his partner already. He had told her that she couldn't do the asparagus thing she wanted to do. And then
he was like, I didn't say that.
Yeah.
And that's his partner, right? Are those her pronouns? Yeah. Ashley, okay. She was saying that she was like, well, you know, if I get kicked off of the show, then people are gonna think I'm a bad chef. Like, it just really made me understand the show better for a second. Because I'm like, is it better to have been on Top Chef and been kicked off early, or to have never gone on at all? What do we think the answer is?
I think it's better to go on the show. I think even if you really beef it, you can like turn that into like press circuit stuff and be like, yeah, I goofed hard. And you have the opportunity to be like, my whole thing is recognition. Let me prove myself again. And they could like maybe bring you back in a future season. That's my thought.
I have a corollary to that, which is I think now better to go on. I think then maybe not.
Why?
Social media was not as big of a thing. So I think what you end up doing is you just flop on TV. And then nothing happened.
But then also you could argue that back then, when it wasn't in perpetuity forever existing on social media, that you could just now have your restaurant say like, as featured on Top Chef, and no one has any receipts.
Yeah, no one has the receipts.
No one, not even Hulu,
except for us.
Yeah.
Okay, gorgeous. So then.
Is it better to have loved and lost than to have never loved at all? Yes.
Okay, so Lisa, I'm not seeing the dish that looks like barf. I wonder if the thing you thought looked like barf was Laureen's dish, which was, this has to be it.
I can't really see, Rika. Is there any way for you to like put it in the chat or something?
No.
Just text it to Lisa.
Okay, text it to me. And then I could show, because I don't have any sort of haunted bedroom.
Hey! You watch it.
You guys saw my crispy, crystal clear poster of the pest?
Yes. It was almost like it was your phone background. Okay, I just texted it. Was that it? That has to be it. Because that does actually look like curdled barf. Like,
it does look bad, but I don't know if it was the thing I'm thinking of was like a parade of just relish. That's what it looked like.
Okay, then you're thinking of either is such a stupid thing. This or
Text me everything you have.
yeah, this. I'm gonna accidentally text this to the wrong person and be like,
Oh, this one was bad too. This wasn't as green, but this one really did make me remember the snail as a living boy.
That looks like human centipede.
That's what we're saying with his backpack still on. Like, I did not appreciate that. These were like a little line of children going to school, you know?
Yeah.
Yes.
This could have been it.
I
think you showed this before.
Yeah, I think that's the like skid. That's like a skid mark.
Yeah, that's pretty bad.
That's the one that won.
Okay.
Oh, and Chris is wondering what chair meat is, and I was saying because that piece of meat looked like it was hacked in 2 levels, it looked a little like a chair. So that's what chair meat is.
Chair meat, right?
This is what chair meat is. Okay, so anyway, we are at judges table. On top are Brian and Mike Isabella, and then Michael Voltaggio and Jen Carroll. And in case you didn't know, Lisa, Brian Voltaggio, Mike Voltaggio, brothers on the same.
I saw they look like identical twins.
Yeah. And then the winner is Brian. And on the bottom is Hector and Ash and Mateen and Ashley. And we get the little drama of like, Mateen, why did you tell Ashley she couldn't put asparagus? He's like, no.
So if you guys were Ashley in that situation, would you have spoken your truth, or would you have
I would have. I would have said, I wouldn't have come at him, but I would have been like, hey, respectfully, we had a conversation at the
yeah, Rika, you're really good at stuff like that. And you can get to the point without escalating.
Lisa,
it's a gorgeous quality of yours.
That is so kind of you.
I only know this because I've been in confrontation with Rika many times.
Yeah. I'm like, where is this beautiful trait, and why is it not being extended to me, Rika? I guess is my first question.
Oh God!
And the second thing I want to say is that I would have gone for him. I would have been like, listen, I'm not going to say anything. We both messed up the dish together. It is what it is, because I'm like, you should just be professional about it. But once he's like, I did not know I meant a different boy, I would be like, no, absolutely not. I wanted you an asparagus velouté. You said no. Watch the tapes back.
Oh, that's it.
Watch the tapes. And I think I would maybe say like, I agreed to go along with you, but you can't say I didn't pitch this. Like, like you're saying, Jordan, like I'll take credit for like helping put together this dish, and it didn't work.
Yeah.
But,
listen, watch the tapes is the most underutilized phrase in all of reality TV, because why doesn't anyone ever and the people who are lying and saying that they did something or they didn't do something, it's like, we have the tapes, brother. You know, play it back. And sometimes I wish in the moment they would play it back for them.
Yes. I think that would make Real Housewives reunions much more interesting, because I think a lot of times I'm like, do the people on these reality shows even know that the shows air on TV? Because sometimes it does seem like they just think they can say whatever, and then it goes out into it goes up to heaven and we never hear it again.
I will say that they're probably filming for 70 billion hours, and then we just see a little bit of it. So I understand that. It is a thing where like the producers know, they're watching all that footage in Video Village. They know if it happened, and they're just purposely trying to keep it obfuscated for drama. Because in season 7, spoiler, this is going to come into play because somebody's pea puree gets stolen.
Oh, so that someone just said that in the comments, and I didn't understand.
We still don't have clarity on that.
We still don't have clarity because someone's pea puree gets stolen, and another guy who does coincidentally happen to be one of the most disgusting people that's ever been on the show magically has a pea puree in his dish that nobody saw him make. And he's like, I didn't take your pea puree.
Oh, and my God. And the footage
there's nothing on the tapes. And Tom Colicchio to this day says, we don't know what happened. If he had taken it, we would have had it on the tapes. Honestly,
but obviously he took it. You don't just make a pea puree.
It would behoove us for drama to show that.
Right.
How sneaky he was.
Whoa.
Yeah, maybe he's a little raccoon in the middle of the night. I don't know.
I think so.
I don't know. I can't decide this. Eliminated is Hector. Bummer, but
at least it wasn't another woman.
Yeah.
And that
seems to be the theme of the episode.
Yes. And honestly, this season, and so many of these seasons are very sexist, but this season has a lot of sexist people on it, meaning actually mostly Mike Isabella. He's straight up in the first
two. Even people I think Michael Voltaggio does some stuff where I'm like, that doesn't feel good.
Oh yeah, he yells at Robin later. It's gross.
Okay, but so I was wondering this when I was watching and thinking like, because in Bake Off they eat it, you know, and then they're not seeing who it is. There's always like the.
Yes, they do a blind for the technical challenge. They do a blind.
So in this show, you can just always see the face of the chef who's handing you the dish.
Almost always, but occasionally.
Sometimes they'll do blind taste tests, but yeah, it's not really.
Yeah, that's a problem.
Yeah.
You want more blind tasting.
It almost needs to be all blind tasting if you're going to be, you know, especially in a male-dominated field.
You could also argue, in a way, I should be able to tell, like by the middle of the season, end of the season, I should be able to tell which dish is yours.
Right. Well, hopefully not. I mean,
well, not in a bad way, but like you should have a style enough that like,
yeah,
really,
you should have like a culinary point of view. I don't know. What am I saying? Anyway,
point of view about the world.
That's my so that's the episode. What do we think? Do we like? Do we hate?
Loved it. And I want to watch. I'm going to keep watching until I see the pea puree. I'll watch next season.
Okay. I will tell you that my 2 least favorite seasons are season 6 and 7.
But
so you're in.
But what about the pea puree? I need to see.
Yeah, that happens in the middle of season 7. If you have any interest in skipping around.
Okay.
Much like how my friend did not watch the most recent Bachelor and wanted to see why they were talking about shrimp for 2 episodes. So I showed her the clips about the shrimp.
Right.
Yeah.
Easy fix.
Easy fix. Gorgeous. Well, Lisa, we kind of asked you this in the quickfire, but is there anything you would have cooked during a French food challenge, basically, of a sauce and a protein? Pretend you have all the cooking skills in the world, all the French cooking, like.
Oh, well, see, I don't even know enough to know what the name of the thing is, but no, I don't. I couldn't. I honestly couldn't. The things I cook, it's like, you guys, I make the most disgusting shit you've ever seen in your life. I eat for like staying alive. Like, so, my husband cooks really good food. He made a loaf of bread today. He made baguettes a couple days ago. He is amazing. And it's given me a healthy dose of learned helplessness. And when I try to do it, it's like, it always is the same thing. I take a crock pot, I put water in it. I put just hard rice, unrinsed, some ground turkey or something, and ketchup or something. And then I'll close that lid and I'll just let it sit for like 8 hours. And I'll be like, it's cooked. You can eat it. Is it going to be good? No. Does it have nutrients in it? Yeah. There's proteins and grains in there. You're going to have to choke it down, gag it up, you know? Beef it down, but it's like.
What is that dish called? What would you refer to that as?
Sometimes I call it pink food because it comes out just like one color. And that's what I make if I'm like
we
home
just did
alone.
A moment of silence. Yeah.
I made my whole crotch just clench and turn inward.
Yeah. Gag it up, slop it down.
Lisa, actually, one of the absolute last things I did before pandemic was go to your house with a bunch of peanut butter cupcakes. What a nice memory.
That was so nice.
That was like 2 days before pandemic.
We were young and spry and we were talking about acting and audition
techniques. Yeah, I was like, give me acting tips. And then it was like, bye.
And those cupcakes were so good.
I'm so glad.
They were like true peanut buttery. You know, when something just has like a wisp of peanut butter? No, these were like, the foundation was peanut butter.
Oh, I'm getting word that I should show you a picture of something, Lisa. Basically, I'll eat a banana in any form, and I know you like banana.
2 minutes, Reka. 2 minutes.
Okay,
I know. What happens? What happens in 2 minutes?
I know you like
I'm
banana
scared.
bread. This is a banana that I ate recently. What do you think?
Bitch, text that to me. What is that? Looks like a vagina. It's folded in half. Oh my God, you ate that? That came out of your freezer. That was already slopped in your freezer, and you had to microwave that.
No. It came out of, I almost said its shell. It came out of its skin like that. I like peeled it and it fell over like that.
And you ate that with a knife and fork or a spoon or what?
Spoon.
Why? For nutrients.
For nutrients. Because
you didn't enjoy it, right?
It was very sweet. It's very sweet. It's just sweet.
You didn't put chocolate chippies on it or something to make it like a event?
No, this was like a breakfast, mush kind of stuff.
Yeah, that's bad. You're just as bad as me and as dumb and stupid.
You suck, just like me. We both are trash.
And we're the same.
Incredible. Chris, thank you so much for supporting the banana picture. Rhiannon, I don't know if you're in the chat. Thank you for your tireless support of the banana picture. Everybody else, you are just kind of hating on me. And you know what? I'm going to work through that hate. Guys, this has been so lovely.
So
Lisa,
fun.
where can people find you? I've got your socials in the description, but like, do you want to plug anything?
Just at the Lisa Gilroy on all the platforms, and I guess on Fairview on Comedy Central, the animated series, and probably some commercials once in a while.
Hell yeah! You played Rapunzel in a commercial. I remember that.
Dunkin' Donuts, baby.
Ooh, baby. Well, thank you guys so much, and be sure to tune in next week for the next episode of season 6.
So fun. Thank you for having me.
Bye.